Somewhere in Astoria, picture you somewhere in Astoria, with the kids on the couch and the TV on, the wife and the house and the perfect lawn. Somewhere in Astoria, somewhere in Astoria. Hey, you can be honest. Is this really what you wanted? Is your conscience haunted? And when you think of your promise, does it bother you at all that you stole from me what you gave to her? Will anybody else will tell them you're somewhere in Astoria? Picture you somewhere in Astoria, with the kids on the couch and the TV on, with the wife in the house and the perfect lawn. Somewhere in Astoria, 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 somewhere in Astoria. Pretend it was all a reaction, caught up in the throes of passion, but the memories faded. And when you woke in the morning, did you cry a tear of mourning for the life we lived before what you did? Lay my head at night and picture it somewhere in Astoria. Picture you somewhere in Astoria, with the kids on the couch and the TV on, with the wife in the house and the perfect lawn. Somewhere in Astoria, somewhere in Astoria, somewhere in Astoria, somewhere in Astoria. I used to pray that you'd come back to me, but only if you changed, only if you changed. Now that I see her living our dream, I know it wasn't meant for me.